Okay, so back for part two of the Alpha Models Aston Martin DBS Superleggera. We're going to be inspecting a cattle today, some cattle. So no, these are new. These are full-length gloves. They're fairly cheap as well. So I've been using these lately. I did originally buy them for 3D printing, which I don't do anymore. And I find for the 2K, they are perfect. They completely cover up your arm. One on each arm, and then put your nitrile gloves on top. And you've got full protection on your hands and your arms as well. And they're cheap to buy. Now, we're using ProScale Paint's 2K clear coat system on this. This is obviously myself and my partner Hannah's business. This is a 2-to-1 mix of clear to 2-part clear to 1-part activator mix, 2-to-1. So if you put in 10 milliliters of clear, you need, say, 5 milliliters of activator and so on. So that's exactly what we're doing here, 2-to-1 mix. Using a fresh pipette for each solution. And then with the 2-part clear, 1-part activator in, pop the lids and everything and get them out of the way. And then we'll mix it all up to get the chemical reaction started. And then we'll throw the pipette away, never to be used ever again. Do not reuse these pipettes. Do not introduce them into different bottles of mixture or medium, because it will contaminate the bottle and ruin it. There we go, so with that out of the way, and we're now going to add 5% of thinner. So we've got a 15 milliliter clear and activator combined mixture. 5% of that would be 0.75 milliliters. So that's what we'll just put in there. And again, fresh pipette, mix it all up, and then we're going to throw the pipette away and never use it again. It's as simple as that. Do not reintroduce those pipettes into any of those bottles. You will contaminate the bottle and ruin your 2K. We're going to strain the 2K, which is something I always recommend doing. You'll find some of the activators on 2Ks can dry crusty around the rim, and nobody likes a crusty rim, and you certainly don't want this in your clear coat. So I always strain it through a 190 micron paint strainer, which we sell over on ProScale Paints, which is linked in the description down below. Get all our paint supplies and our 2K system from there. We've got the Aston mounted Chicoli for 2K, just on double-sided 3M pads, using our Tamiya anti-static brush, just to wipe off any dust that may have landed on the body. We've got my spray booth running, my bench vent spray booth. We've got some fresh paper in there, which we've wetted as well. We've got our plastic box to the left to store it in between coats. I've got my window open just a crack to allow adequate ventilation to come through. I'm double gloved on each hand. And I have my full face respirator on, my 3M respirator as well. Make sure there's no pets or children in the room with you, and you'll be just fine. So we're going to apply a nice semi-wet coat all the way around the car. Again, making sure we get all those nooks and crannies. But you can see just a nice semi-wet coat, not a full wet coat, just a nice semi-wet coat all around the car. A nice even pass over everywhere. I tend to do the top and then the sides and the front and back. We'll just go around and give it a nice even coat everywhere. And then what we'll do is this will get popped back into our plastic storage box for about 5 minutes while it off gases, flashes off, and goes super tacky. And once it goes tacky, that allows us to put another wet coat on, so massively reducing the risk of any runs. We're also going to 2K anything else it needs doing on this. So we've got the wing mirrors, 2 of those. Now I have sped this up now, obviously, as well, just to speed up the process. And then the areas we carboned earlier on are going to get a nice coat of 2K2. So I think it's just this rear diffuser and the 2 mirrors. 5 minutes have elapsed, and this is now super tacky, and we're in again with a wet coat. So another wet coat going down. We'll come back from the model a little bit more now, and we'll allow a little bit more clear coat to flow through. We're overlapping each coat of clear with another coat of clear, just to keep the wet edge as well. And again, just systematically working our way around all the body and trying to get a nice, even clear coat. Now, don't be worried about getting a perfect finish on this coat. This is perfect what we're doing right now. I've experimented many models onto how to get the optimum use out of our 2K, and how I'm going to do it right here is how to do it. 2 nice semi-wet coats, thinned 5%. Don't thin it any more on your first 2 coats. And then do all the other parts at the same time as well. That rear diffuser and our mirrors. And then what we're going to do is we're going to thin whatever's left of our mixture a further 10%. So if we have 10 millilitres of mixed clear 2K, we're going to add 10% thinner, so we'll add another 1 millilitres of thinner to the mixture. And even just a small amount of 10% will drastically thin this 2K, and you'll notice just how much freer it now flows. And because it's thinner, it will also self-level easier as well. So with that thinned, we can come back with another wet coat and go over. Now what this will do now on the other subsequent coats of 2K is just help level it out. So we're going to go around with a nice even coat. It's the same 3 coats we're doing. We haven't really changed any level of coverage or anything, keeping the wet edge as we go. We'll throw our 0.5 milli water CR, we're at about 22 psi, and we're just doing the same 3 coats all the way, just trying to get a nice even coat all the way around, getting all the sills and all the nooks and crannies. As you see, we're not quite perfect, so I'm going to pop that back in its box while I do all the other bits, and that will continue to self-level while it's sat there flashing off. And our wing mirrors as well. Now don't forget the smaller parts don't need as much clear. It's very easy to flood them, so don't go crazy. There we go. Now that body is sat there, and we're going to get out and have a look. Now we want this to look like glass, because how this is left now is how it will dry. I've got 1 or 2 little specks of dust in it, which is always going to happen, and I'm just looking for anywhere that could do just a little bit more 2K to help level it out. So there's a little bit on the roof there. Other than that, the body looks pretty clear. And here we go. So all done, all cleaned up, and this is the next day. In fact, I think it's that evening. It's about 4 hours later. And just look at that, how beautiful that green and black combo looks now. Absolutely stunning. You see the side of my house there. There's the phone, there's the trees and everything. Absolutely beautiful. The clear coat looks absolutely fantastic. Looking absolutely stunning, really is. Right then, for me, that's the fun bit done. This is the bit I can't stand doing. Thankfully on our models there's no real cleanup required, and most of the parts are mounted on their pour plugs to enable you to paint them. But for me, the fun part is painting the body and final assembly. I'm not keen of the cleanup of parts in between and the painting of all these parts. I've literally just sat this morning for an hour and 20 minutes priming all the parts on the GT3 I'm currently building, and yes, it is probably my least enjoyable part of modelling, but it is a must. And again, exactly the same principles as before. The best surface preparation will give us the best result. Now we're using, for some reason I've got a picture of my Pro Scale primer. It's not Pro Scale, this is actually Tamiya primer that's been decanted and thinned up 20% with Tamiya lacquer thinner and retarder. We're going for our Water Revolution CR3 again. I'm just going to put down several coats of primer. Now the reason I use Tamiya primer on this and not Pro Scale is I don't want to be sanding this back. We've got too many intricate nooks and crannies to do, too many small pieces, so I just want a nice easy self-leveling primer. I've used Tamiya for years. It's a very good primer. Out the rattle can airbrush, it's a lot more controllable. It goes further as well. It's a lot more cost effective, and thinned with about 20% thinner. It lays down absolutely beautiful. Dries pretty quick as well. It just gives a nice reliable primer surface. For black, we're using Mr. Surface 1500 black. I really wish Tamiya made a black surface primer. I do like Mr. Surface there, but I think the Tamiya's got better self-leveling properties to it. But as a black primer, yeah, I do like the Mr. Surface. It's good stuff. And we're going to prime all our wheels. We're going with gloss black wheels on this, as per my reference pictures. So yeah, and while we're there, we're going to prime up anything and everything else that needs priming in black. So all the parts being done at once, they've all been mounted together, as well as all the photo etch as well. It's a definite quicker process with Alpha Models kits and plastic kits, because you have to clean all the seams off the plastic kits, clean all the imperfections up, mount them all, then prime them. With this, they're pretty clean out the box. There's no real cleanup needed, and they're pre-mounted on these pour stubs, ready for primer. So it makes life a lot easier. Now, on the interior, I'm going to do a colour combination of fair green leather from Pro Scale and Napa black leather. So we're going to paint the majority of it fair green, and then we're going to mask up, which is going to take us hours to do, and paint Napa black accents on there just to break it up. And again, not on the car I use as inspiration, but another car I've seen in the same colour. It had a green interior. It was all green, and I didn't like it all green. It was a bit too much. So I thought if I do a two-tone, I had a bit of interest about making it look like a sea of green. So several light coats of this, building up nice and slowly. We'll end up with a nice green, black, leather looking interior. And I think it really suits the exterior of the car. Now, the original colour I had was a lot lighter than this, and it looked a bit garish. It just looked a bit over the top. It looked like kind of, I don't know, it just didn't look right on the car. So I resprayed the seats and created this darker green. And I think this looks a lot better. So the backs of the seats we've got a little bit of a decal for. We're going to mask off all the inner part of these seats, including these very awkward to mask rear seats, which are a bit of a pain in the backside. No separate parts to make it nice and easy for us. So it's just a case of getting on with it and just getting it done. But the Pro Scale Paints leather colour, we've got a massive range of leather colours now. There's well over 20. And we will be adding texture paint as well. I'm working on those right now. You'll see those for the first time, hopefully in a Porsche GT3 RS, the purple one, or the Ruby Star red one that you'll see in a few days on Patreon and a few months on ISM. So yeah, keep an eye out for those as well. So beautiful green colour. I'm happy I went for the darker colour than the lighter one. I think the lighter one just looked a bit too in your face. It was more so through the partial shelf of the car. It was just a very bright contrast between the body colour. So this darker green looks good. We've got some brake caliper yellow on our calipers as well. And again, inspiration off the real car I found. It had yellow calipers, so that's what I decided to go for. So several coats of this, just building up nice and slowly again. Getting all the angles. 2 to 3 light coats of that. We've got the yellow colour we require. We've got some decals to go on this as well. So they'll be decaled up and then clear coated later on. And then our wheels, we've got some Mr. Hobby GX2 Gloss Black. Now I could have just clear coated these. But I thought, you know what, we'll see what the GX2 looks like. I think if I remember right, I did clear coat them in the end. But I just went with the GX2, which is Mr. Hobby's gloss black paint. And it does lay down really well. Wheel colour and interior colour, for me, I have enough trouble picking an exterior colour. Picking a contrasting wheel and interior colour is just an absolute nightmare. So I was glad to find the reference video I did of this Aston Martin, just so I could be like, yeah, that goes together well. It saved me a lot of thought and mucking around. But yes. Photo etch. These bloody window wipers, these are the scourge of my life. All the photo etches are all mounted now. We've got a whole tongue depressor with some Tamiya tape on to hold them down. These are all brass. So some of them needed shaping, and there is like a kind of a tool in the box to help you shape them. And we've got some Pro Scale Paints Photo Etch Primer, which will etch itself onto the photo etch and give a much more reliable primer coat. I'm just going at it from every angle, just to give it a nice, even, consistent prime. For our Iwata HPC Plus, 18 psi again, just several light coats. Dries almost instantly, this stuff. It's absolutely fantastic. And then on the brakes and what have you, exactly the same. So I tend to put a couple of coats of this on at least. And I tend to come with from all different angles. And like I say, it dries almost instantly. Literally, by the time you've moved on from one piece, it's dry. So you can go back over it again almost instantly. So I always do a couple of coats on the front and then angle and do all the sides as well. because you don't want to paint it all and then on a certain angle of the car you have a nice shiny piece of photo etch showing through. So I always make sure to get the edges. I'm not going to get the backs because you won't see the backs at all anyway. But I always make sure to get the edges just to keep it nice and even and give us a nice consistent colour. Now, new colour for us, we've got Pro Scale Paint's Carbon Ceramic Breaks Grey. So I originally had one colour, which was a darker, really dark grey carbon colour. And looking at some of the breaks, they do vary in colour. I thought, you know what, we'll keep the original colour and we'll call that Carbon Ceramic Breaks Black. And I've made this colour, which is just a slightly greyer colour, and I like this one. So you've now got two choices of carbon ceramic colour on Pro Scale. You can use real life references of the car you're building to see if it's lighter or darker. So a couple of coats of this, again getting all those angles, get all the edges of the discs. And this looks really good. The carbon ceramic looks really, really good. That's the right size flexing it to give it that nice metallic look. If you've seen carbon ceramic discs, you'll know exactly what I mean. And then we've got some Pro Scale Paint Superfine Silver. So this is the rear light bar. So this will be under our tinted rear lights. So the Aston came with either tinted or red rear lights, and I opted for tinted just because I think the red didn't tie in as well with the black roof as the tinted did. So I opted to do that. So a couple of coats of paint on that. And then we'll do our discs, our light units on the front as well. A couple of light coats, just building nice and slow. The Superfine Silver, absolutely beautiful, finely pigmented metallic, as all our metallics are, but this one especially so. It is a beautiful, beautiful colour. The centre hubs now, we've got some Tamiya LP5. I'm just going to put a couple of coats down on here. We've also got the paddle shifter, the number plate, and some other bits and bobs there. I can't quite make out what they are. So we're going to do my old trick on number plates. We're going to paint them all black, or this one. And then later on, we'll sand all the raised areas with a UMP sanding stick. And that'll leave us some nice silver numbers on a nice satin black number plate. All my Alpha Models kits have those on, or near enough all of them. And I think it's a nice little look. And again, some LP5 on the window wipers as well. So yeah, these look good. They do look good. They're a pain in the arse. They really are. I don't mind building them anymore. Building them's not too bad. Attaching them to the car is an absolute nightmare. And I have a confession on this one at the end, which is we don't fit them. Yeah, don't tell anyone. I've actually made them the wrong way here. I've made them for a left-hand drive car, and they don't fit correctly. So at the end of the build, I was like, you know what? They get sat in the scuttle panel, virtually hidden anyway. If I hadn't told you, you probably would never have noticed. But hey, I've told you now, so by the time part 3 comes out, hopefully you've forgotten, and you won't notice. So yeah, I've made them the wrong way. Just one of those things. It happens, and I thought, you know what? Screw it. Who cares? Who cares? At the end of the day, it's my model. It's only me that's going to see it, and thousands of people on YouTube, and Facebook, and Instagram. Anyway, LP5 on all the grills at the front as well. I have checked that front grill fit, the big one. That has been shaped. That is the one that comes with 2 tools to actually bend it to the correct shape. And Alpha Model very thoughtfully gives you 2 of those grills in the kit as well, in case you screw one up. So that does fit perfectly. Everything else, there's 2 rear parts that go around the exhaust. I haven't bent those to shape yet because I wasn't 100% sure which direction I was going to go with them. It's brass, it will bend super easy, so we'll deal with that at a later date. Right, it's been a week. In fact, it's been longer than a week. We had another build on the go in between this one, which was Nunu's Audi Quattro, which you'll see after this build. So the 2K been drying now for a couple of weeks, absolutely rock solid, and we're going to sand it back with our 3M Tri-Zip pads and polish it all up. Now we're polishing it back. We've got a beautiful finish. We've got a couple of specks of dust, so this will help us get rid of those. It'll also thin out the 2K a bit, which will make it look a bit more realistic. And trust me, if you think your 2K looked good before, if you polish it properly, it will look even better afterwards. Trust me, I've been there and left them, and then I've polished them. They look infinitely better polished back and sanded up. They really do. So we've got our 3M pads, we've got our Menzerna compounds there, and autoglym polish as well. We've got our Zoom On polishing compound sponges, and our Proxon multi-tool as well. So we're going to go all round with a 6000 grit Trizec pad, and we'll just flatten back all the surface. Be careful of any corners or edges. As you see, we've got a bit of washing up liquid, Dawn dish soap, wherever you call it, wherever you're from, in the water as well to help with lubrication. We're just going around and just gently sanding. Be careful of any edges or raised areas. It's very easy to burn through. Just take your time working on it. So with that done, we'll dry it all off, and you'll see that all the paintwork should be nicely flatted back now. It'll have like a matte texture to it. So go around and thoroughly dry it all off. Just be careful here, don't be snagging any bits or pulling any paint off. Now the 2K is dry within 4 hours. You can handle our 2K in 4 hours. It should be cured perfectly. It depends on temperature, but it should be cured within 24. And I used to sand after 5 days and do this. I found, because obviously some of my builds get delayed a bit because I have others on the go, that leaving it for another couple of days makes it so much nicer to sand and polish. It just cures a little bit longer for those extra 2 days. All depends on the ambient room temperature where you keep it. In my cave, it very rarely drops below 20 degrees C, which is what, 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So you need 15 plus degrees centigrade for 2K to dry properly. But I find just leaving those extra couple of days just makes it so much easier to sand and polish. Trust me on this. Don't be in a rush. Get your body shell done first, and you can work on the rest of the kit while it's curing, and it'll make you a very, very efficient modeler. Trust me, been there. I do this for a living. I built hundreds of models. It's a very efficient way of doing it. Don't be in a rush to do modeling. Enjoy it. And I would advise against using a dehydrator because I've had problems with decals before splitting. And for me, I get the body work done first, leave it to dry whilst we're doing all the rest of the work. Now, the body flatted back with 8000 Trizec pad as well. We've got our Menzerna 2500 compound here. This is a medium cut compound. And we've got our coarse Zoom On mini polishing pad, which you can buy from us directly at ProScale. And we're going to just wipe on the Menzerna all over the body shell. Like so. Gives us a nice even coating. Now the reason to do this is you can put it on the pad, but you'll tend to flick it everywhere once the rotary tool goes on. Now the Proxons, they go down to about 5,000 RPM. Very controllable. Mine's on the foot pedal as well, which makes it especially easy to use. And all we're going to do is go around the whole model with the green sponge with the 2500 Menzerna, and then the blue one with the 3500 Menzerna, and the red one on the autoglym super resin polish. And we're going to give a couple of passes on each part, and even just after this coarse compound, once I wipe it back, you'll see the finish we've already got. So trust me, no matter how good you think your 2K is, if you sand it back properly and polish it up properly, it will look even better. Trust me. Now, as I said before, you can get early access to these videos. I have a Patreon. There's a link in the description down below. There's all applicable tiers from £3.50 upwards. You can get 2 to 3 month early access on all the videos. You get 10% off of ProScale paints off your orders. You get a bench update every week. Every single week I do a bench update where I go for all the supporter group, talk about what's been happening, what's coming up, group builds, show all your work and what you've been working on as well. You can also be added to said Facebook supporter Facebook group as well, which is a hidden group. And there's a Facebook Messenger group where there's like 70 of us in there. You can chat away and ask advice from fellow modelers and myself. I'm in there, obviously. And you can request videos, so on and so forth. You can talk to me directly. And you also keep me being able to do this. Without the Patreon support, I couldn't keep making these videos. So if you'd like to have a look, there's a link down below. Click on it, have a look. You can become a free member. There are no benefits to becoming a free member. And there's also a PayPal me and a Buy Me Coffee link down there as well as all the other relevant links from my social media, including all the products I use in my videos. There's links to Pro Scale Paints we can get all these products from as well. So yeah, if you want to go and have a look, Pro Scale Paints is owned by myself and my partner Hannah. It's just a small family business. And yeah, I think our paints speak for themselves. These results look absolutely phenomenal. And trust me, using the Menzana compounds, the 300 triazid pads, and these polishing sponges we sell, this is an absolute game changer. It really is. The finish you'll get off this, absolutely phenomenal. So there's both the Menzana compounds done. Now we've got the Autoglim Super Resin Polish. And that's it. We're all polished up and ready to crack on with the rest of the build. So we'll be back with part 3 very, very soon. Where we get this project done and dusted. Thanks for watching today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, click the bell so you get notified of all the latest videos. And please leave a comment. Love reading all your comments. And also don't forget, I live stream periodically through the week, usually Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday mornings, UK time. So come on over and have a look there as well. And as you can see, we've got a beautiful, absolutely beautiful 2K body, all polished back, looking absolutely stunning. So there we go. Catch you later on. Take care. Bye-bye.